All right, so 9 practices in, what do you know about your offense? What has stood out to you?
Yeah. I would say first and foremost, we got a lot of guys on offense that have a lot of want to and are very, very excited about getting better. And that's honestly that's the first thing that you look for in a kid is just how bad do they really want to get better, how eager are they, and so I've really learned that from these guys as far as their work ethic and want to. I think that's a big starting point right there, and I really felt like our guys have learned a lot of stuff in 9 days. So they were able. What we do as coaches, we try to really stress on these first handful of practices to see what they can absorb, game plan wise, and what we're installing. And they did a really good job for the most part. I mean, there's definitely some mistakes that everybody's got to improve on, but for the most part, I just told them that they retained a lot. And when you have a lot in your mind, sometimes it's harder to play fast. But for the most part, they've been able to do that and been able to lock into the daily focus. And so just really proud of them for that. Obviously execution is what you're looking for on an offense. And, we're not nearly there yet, but hey, I'm very pleased with where we're at, as far as, halfway or a little more than halfway through spring ball. I am pleased with the guys' work and where we're at, absorbing the stuff and just being able to retain a lot of this stuff. So.
Coach Cade looks really good physically. Coach Sweeney was telling us the other day that mentally, cerebrally, he's right there with Trevor, Deshaun, DJ, picking up the plays and all that.
He's been very, very good. I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all. He's a very smart kid, and it's always a big test for these young guys that come in here mid-year, and they come in here for a month and a half of school, and then all of a sudden, bam, here comes spring practice. So it's a lot of being overwhelmed early on, and he has handled it very, very well. And the tough thing is, we can't meet with them for hours upon hours as coaches just because of the rules. And so he's done a great job of working hard to learn it and learn it from the other quarterbacks. Other quarterbacks have helped with that process. And I take pride in those guys being able to help each other out and encourage each other. But Cade's done a very good job. There's always going to be something early on in the process of learning, the learning curve, So the footwork is usually the one that is lacking the most because they're trying to piece together the footwork and the concept and the protection and just a lot to think about. And then sometimes they just lose focus of their footwork. So that's something that will always improve in a player, especially the more he gets reps. And so we overloaded him a lot with reps, which is what he needs. He needs a ton of reps so that he can make mistakes and then we can go learn from it. And he's done a really, really good job of that so far.
What stood out to you specifically from today's scrimmage?
Yeah, I think, it just shows that we can be explosive. I mean, we can get the ball down the field and we can be explosive in the run game. We didn't have as many explosives in the run game today, but I felt like, throwing the ball down the field, guys were making some plays. We missed some plays, obviously, but we got some guys that can do it. And our guys up front, there's plenty of guys that I can talk about up front that did a great job of protection. And I felt like the quarterbacks did a good job of making good decisions. We had a few, mishaps, maybe decision-making wise, but I felt like our offense can be super explosive, and it will be. And then the other thing is we've been talking about tempo ever since I've been talking to you guys about the bowl game and just emphasizing tempo, getting lined up, all right, getting our hand on the ball, getting set, and having that pre-snap intensity. And so we can always work on that for sure, but I felt like our tempo was pretty good at times, and that's partially on me too on how fast I called the play.
Speaking of explosive, Adam Randall.
Oh yeah,
had a play today, possibly.
He did. Yeah. Adam has had a great spring. He is a big, obviously you can see that, but big receiver that physical, great hands, and kind of like I said in the beginning, when I think of Adam Randall, I think of grit. I think of a guy that's working his butt off, and he's probably like, I can't believe I'm getting this many reps, Like, he is working his tail off. A lot to clean up technically, but he is doing a great job of, again, retaining it and then having that big body. I mean, he's got to be 222 pounds right now, and he moves. And so he's been really special this first half of spring.
Seems like Phil Maffa has taken this opportunity with the ones and literally run with it.
No question about it. I'm very pleased with Phil. Phil, we challenged him, when we started spring that, hey, you're going to take a big workload, but it's such a great opportunity for him to get a ton of reps with that first group. And I'm telling you right now, that kid has been incredible. And I know CJ would think the same thing, but I got no reservations about him in the game at any time. That kid is explosive, he's big, he's physical, he's smart, he understands the offense, he'll protect, he can catch the ball in the backfield, and so he's done a very, very good job. And he's such a quiet kid that just goes and works. He just goes and works, and he's just a pleasure to coach.
We know that DJ's the guy, but is Cade pushing him? Is it a battle yet or not yet?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's a battle yet, but of course he's pushing it. I mean, I think all four of the quarterbacks that are taking reps are pushing each other, and that's what I talked to all four of them about at the beginning of the spring. Is just, man, we're here to get each other better. There's no automatic starter. That's not how it works. That's not what our program is about. Our program is about earning it, and what's happened in the past, you got to re-earn. And so that's a big philosophy of our program. And I'll tell you what, first off, DJ has done an incredible job between the bowl game and spring ball and getting his body right, getting his mind right, and going to work. And I'm really, really proud of him for doing that. And I wouldn't expect anything different, no excuse guy at all, and he just goes to work. And of course, by Cade getting here, another high-profile guy, I mean, that's gonna make sure that that's gonna push you. And Cade's done a great job of that. He's handled that situation very, very well. And Billy and Hunter have done a great job of pushing each other and helping these other guys learn, the young guys learn, helping Cade get through a lot of stuff as far as mentally. And so these guys are working really hard together. So we're really excited about all four.
DJ mentioned that you worked with him in the off season. What are some of the things you guys worked on?
Yeah, well, we've talked a lot. Yeah, we've talked a lot, man. We've had a lot of discussions just about things to improve on, starting with the footwork. All right, starting with footwork and making full speed decisions. All right, those are two things that are very, very critical at the quarterback position. Everything starts with that footwork, and the timing comes from your footwork. And so he's done a great job on his own of working his footwork, and we've had great communication about what he likes and feels more comfortable with. And heck, he's played a lot of football. So I think for me, I've been able to listen to him, hear him out on how he wants to do a few things footwork-wise that maybe he can be comfortable with or more comfortable with, as long as it fits the offense and the timing of what we're trying to accomplish. So we've had some great conversations about that. And he's gotten in the film room a lot more, and has really trained hard. So just excited about his learning and him being able to respond, and challenged in how he's responded to that.
What specific things, Brandon, with the football this season sort of worked on, and do you think that was a major contributor to some of the inaccuracies that he had at times last year?
Yeah, good question. I think the inaccuracies come from a lot of things. I think, it's obviously glaring when you play the quarterback position and it all goes on the quarterback, but there's definitely plenty of times where maybe a route depth wasn't right, or maybe they ran the wrong route, or maybe it was a guy right in his face. So there's a lot of things, and I know you guys know that, but there was way more that got thrown on DJ than he deserved, to be honest with you. And so he's just continued to work at it. But yes, whenever we got pressure situations, being able to maintain his footwork, balance. The big thing for him is balance. And when he's balanced in the pocket, when his feet are set and he can be balanced, he's as accurate as I've seen him. There's no question about it. Whenever he gets off balance, he still has the arm talent to make throws, but that percentage goes down on his accuracy. And so that's the big challenge for him is, man, be able to feel the rush and the timing of getting rid of the ball, but also maintaining that balance with his footwork, be able to stand in there, not fading away unless he absolutely has to. So I think those are some things that he's really kind of put on the forefront of for his improvement.
This offensive line, when I look at them, they look physically better maybe than any offensive line here, maybe since 2016. But do you see improvement? Do you think they have a chance to be better? And am I right or wrong on that?
No, I think you're right on. I mean, I think we got all the talent. We got all the talent that we need as far as offensive line. There is no question. We got guys that have not played as much, that have grown a lot in this last couple months. Whether it was since the bowl game to getting ready for spring ball or just through the 9 practices of spring, there has been a ton of improvement. Coach Austin has done a great job with communicating to these guys and making sure that they're communicating amongst each other, and that's where it starts, is the communication piece with their offensive line. But as far as how physical these guys are, man, I couldn't ask for a better group as far as grit, nastiness, pushing through some injury and hurting and things like that. I mean, I'm just proud of where they are. Plenty to work on. We all, you've heard that before with coaches. I mean, plenty to work on, but I am pleased, and we got talent, and so we're excited about the future for sure.
How did Will do at center today in the scrimmage? Any bad snaps there?
It's hard to tell. Was there a bad snap? There might have been one down there on the goal line, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember if DJ could have caught that one or not. But speaking of Will,
practice,
oh my goodness, just thinking about playing center and the how dependable you need to be. And so we obviously made the move because Will Putnam is a dependable guy. He is a smart, tough, really good football player. So we felt like by moving him to center, he's going to be a great answer for us there. And he has done really, really well these first 9 practices, and very minimal, bad snaps. I mean, he's had some, which is of course understood, but he is another guy that's got so much grit and want to that he's continuing to get better and better and better. So hard to say exactly how he did today until I watched the film, but I felt like for the majority of the time he was pretty sharp with his snaps.
Anybody starting to separate at those guard spots?
Marcus Tate is just doing a great job. Marcus Tate got thrown into the fire last year. He has all the talent in the world. He could play guard, he could play tackle. And that's been the beauty of our offensive line in the past, is that we've got guys that can play multiple positions. So we're able to, move them around a little bit and fill in holes when we need to. So I really, really believe that Marcus is doing a great job. He's taking another step. You can see the maturity. You can see the understanding of the big picture, being in the right spot. He was exposed a little bit last year because he was thinking a lot. As a freshman, that's what happens. But man, he's a big kid that can move, and he's a smart kid. And he's just the game's starting to slow down to him, which is fun to see. Brian Tucker's been improving every day out here. There's no doubt about it. Brian Tucker has done a great job. He's a big body that has improved daily. John Williams has done a great job. I'm missing a couple guys, but these guys have. You got no choice but to get better when you have spring practice, and we had Mitchell Mays that was started off pretty strong, and then had a little bit of an injury that he was out for the last couple days, and so I had other guys that had to fill in, but guys have stepped up and done a good job.
I think Coach Sweeney said the other day Tristan Lee was one of the most improved players on the team.
I'm telling you right now, there's no question he is. Playing tackle, has done an awesome job, and he works his tail off to get better. He came in here as a young kid and was a little overwhelmed. Coming in as I guess, was he a 5-star? I don't even know, 4 or 5-star guy. Talented, supposed to be coming in here and playing right away. Well, he wasn't ready. He was not ready. I'm sure Coach Sweeney said the same thing, but just he really wasn't ready, and that's okay as long as you recognize that. Right. And he recognized it. He knew he had to get better, and he worked his butt off this during the season, and he's gotten stronger. He bends better. He's gotten a lot more confident when he plays, and so very, very pleased with his progress. Now he's just got to keep it going, because he's going to be able to help us.
Sadler and Miller, are they on they more ready, I guess, than you guys mentioned in Lee as the reference point? Are they more advanced at this stage
Then who?
than Lee was when he first got here?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah, maybe a little bit. They both have done a good job of retaining it. Again, when you come in as a freshman, like I was talking about Cade, you come in as a freshman, and oh my gosh, you're like trying to figure it all out. And I've told these guys a million times in front of the whole offense, these offensive linemen got the toughest job on the field because there's so much that goes on in front of them, and there's 5 guys trying to work together. And so that's hard. And so now to learn all the calls, to learn all the plays, and everything. So I'm very pleased with those guys. Super talented, both of them. And both of them very physical players. So, man, I'm telling you, the sky's the limit for these guys. They're want-to guys. They're wanting to work every day after practice, getting extra, things like that. So they're going to be able to help us. There's no doubt.
You mentioned tempo. Are y'all practicing that way? Is there an adjustment to going faster?
One thing we're doing is just putting a play clock out on the practice field, and so just kind of recording on how fast we can snap the ball. And again, when I say tempo, we just need to have a tempo to get lined up. If we can get lined up, that's going to force the defense to get lined up, and then we can dictate whether we want to snap it fast or if we want to be able to, hold their water a little bit, get into a great play, and make it a downhill play for us. So we have definitely stressed that. We got periods in practice where we're doing a tempo period, which is on air. Y'all might have been here for some of those, but just going up and down the field and making them think fast, but especially getting lined up. If we can get lined up faster, I really believe with the tempo, you can create rhythm. And I think that's so important in an offense is creating rhythm. And that way, they're so used to going fast. Usually in the game, it slows down for them, and it allows them to play fast.
How soon after the previous play ends do you want your guys lined up?
Yeah, a good question. It's really based on how fast I can make the call. It starts with me, but we want to get them lined up with, between 30 and 35 seconds on the clock, and then try to snap it above 20, and just try to. It's not going to always be that case because we might have a cadence where we want to really, try to catch the defense off guard, and like I said, might have some checks that our quarterback's got to handle. That hey, that play clock's going to get under 20. That's fine. Certain situations, maybe on third down or whatever. We got to get in a good play. So I do want the pre-snap intensity to get lined up, and then be able to execute, at a little bit better tempo.
How different is that than the tempo you're running under Tony?
Yeah, I think we've always had the mindset of being a no-huddle offense, and sometimes when you're a no-huddle offense, people think that you're going fast all the time. And we weren't fast all the time, which is fine because we have been unbelievable around here as far as tackles for loss and not giving up tackles for loss. And that's because we put ourselves in good situations and we've been able to communicate up front, and we've all been on the same page. And that's what I learned from Tony. Unbelievable as far as how he's been able to, he was very clear on that. I just want that same type of results, but just everything moving a little bit faster. Just a more intensity about getting lined up.
Looks like Brink's still out with the hip pointer. How did that affect the scrimmage today with he and Allen out? And Luke Price, we know he can block, but how viable is he as a pass catching tight end?
Jake is a special talent now. He is special, and I hate it for him because he was off to a really good start this spring. I can't remember which practice it was, 3 or 4, and got that little injury, and hopefully he'll be back after the spring break. But he's a big threat, not just in the passing game, but he's a physical kid. He is a really, really physical kid. That's what I've been most impressed about with him because, just assuming he was going to come in here and just be a route guy, but this kid did a great job of being physical. And so, obviously, he's got tons to learn. He's still young, and hopefully he can push through this injury and get back and get some more reps because that's what they all need. They all need those reps, especially these young guys.
You had Allen and Sage also out.
Yeah.
How was the scrimmage today with Luke Price in there?
Oh, Luke has been a warrior, and I actually gave him praise at the end right there. I don't know if y'all heard me, but just we've had 3 guys at tight end, all right, for most of these practices, and as you guys can tell, we're moving fast. There is a lot of guys flying around, and we do 2 7-on-7s, and heck, one guy's going the whole time, so it's a lot of work. So Luke has been amazing. He's the guy he's like the quarterback on the field for the tight ends. He knows exactly what to do. He's very efficient. He's very physical, and he's getting way better with his ball skills, and just a warrior guy, So yeah, of course we're missing those 3 guys that you mentioned. I mean, heck yeah, there's some talent right there that just visualizing preseason camp when these guys are all healthy there. The guys are all healthy in the offensive line. At running back, oh my gosh. Well, we got some dudes coming back, and so, and receiver, we got 4 or 5 more receivers that are going to be back. So it's going to be fun, it's going to be a lot of fun. But I'm just proud of how these guys have been working. All 3 of those tight ends have gotten better that have been working all day, all spring so far. Man, I love them.
What has impressed you the most about Coach Allison?
What's that?
What has impressed you the most about Coach Allison?
His communication skills. I mean, he's unbelievable. Like, there's no gray area as far as how he communicates with our staff, and then also how he communicates with his players. And I really think that he's helping our offensive line guys gain more and more confidence, and that's fun to watch, because I know these offensive line, what you look for is are the players buying in. It's very clear the players are buying in to a new coach. Thomas has been there, done that at every level. He played here, he played in the NFL, and now he's been a coach for a couple of years, and so that's immediate respect. And he's been really, really good. So smart guy, really has helped in a lot of areas.
What's been your evaluation of Brandon Spector? Do you expect him to be part of the rotation?
Oh, 100% part of the rotation. Been very pleased with Brandon. I mean, he has come out here after dealing with what he had to deal with for the last year. He has responded. He has worked his tail off, and he has made a lot of plays. Really busted through until today. He just couldn't get out there today. But I'm very, very pleased with respect. I mean, he's going to help us. There's no doubt. I mean, whether he's a starter or a rotated guy, he can play. As long as he keeps improving like he is. And again, he's another warrior guy. The challenge for him is to just try to stay healthy. He's had in the past, I want to say, like in preseason camps and some other springs, he's been out for a handful of days, whether he pulled a hamstring or cramps or whatever it is, and he's been very consistent so far this spring. So he's gonna help us. Really good player.
It's the Clemson system. We know that, but
Yep.
and you've been under Tony. But was it, and without giving away secrets, don't want you to do that either.
Yeah.
But was there 1 or 2 things that you said, hey, this is what I want to tweak.
Yeah.
This is what I want to put my stamp on. This is what I want to do this spring and heading into the fall.
Yeah. Well, I think one is that, we talked about the tempo at length already, but that's definitely one thing. I think that it's very, very important for our players to understand the why and the big picture of what we're doing.
Sure.
And I know that sounds like kind of generic, but like there's a lot of guys that you assume they know why we're doing it, and they really don't. And so I think our coaches have done a great job of really explaining the big picture to our players. And when you see their eyes, like, oh, that's why we're doing it this way, or that's why we're teaching it this way. So just being very detailed in the teaching part, and starting from scratch in a way where you can't assume as a coach that they know what we're talking about. And so starting from scratch has been very, very important. And then there's been stuff that we've tweaked in the run game and the pass game, not major things, but there's been some. I mean, you go back all the 7 years since I've been here, I mean, there's been some ridiculous production on the offensive side of the ball. So there's got to be some give and take. Yes, there's plenty we got to improve at. The other side of it is you don't want to, try to fix something that's not broken either. Mm-hmm. So there's kind of that fine line, and so we're kind of got a mixture of both of those things going on. So.
Somebody told me here the other day, they were like, sometimes you have to refresh to stay fresh. Nobody at first was like, oh, everybody's leaving the program, all these coaches. But has that been a positive that you've been able to do with that refresh?
Absolutely. I think absolutely. Anytime you have a new start to something, or like you said, a fresh start with new people, new faces, I mean, it's something different. So it's when you have something different, there's usually some excitement to it too.
Right.
And our guys starting in the bowl game, as far as that first opportunity that I had, and the coaches, I mean, they responded right away. And so it was very clear to me that, hey, they're going to respond to how I coach and respond to what we want as a staff, and that's fun. And that's the first step of what you're looking for. So.
Sorry, I've been asked this before, but
Sorry.
Dabo's talked about this Ngata and this hopefully, being his year. I guess from your perspective, what have you seen from him during his time and kind of overcoming different things, and what's this like this spring for him?
Joe Ngata? Yes. Joe has had a really good spring. Really, really good. Joe obviously has been hampered with some injuries in the past. And so what our message to Joe has been, hey, man, we got to keep you healthy. We got to do whatever it takes to keep you healthy, because he is a special talent. And I mean really, really special. And so he has come out here with a renewed spirit and renewed mindset. It's very clear to me, because there was probably some frustration from last year, and at all levels. But this guy has come out with a new mindset, and really proud of where he is right now. Really proud with the confidence that he's gained in this first 9 practices, and his work ethic. And I've seen him push through some little tweak injuries, so he's taking steps that he needs to take. And like I said, when he's healthy, he's as good as we've had here. So really excited about him and what he's going to bring to the table this year.
Was there anything other than the injuries and kind of the results of injuries that you feel like maybe held him back a little bit when he was able to play?
I don't think so. I think that was the biggest thing that was hard for him, because we're always pushing as coaches is, obviously you don't want to hurt yourself worse, but you're always trying to encourage those guys to making sure they're getting their rehab and making sure they're getting, in the training room and all those things. And so just encouraging him to, really be a pro before you become a pro. How do you do that? With mindset and taking care of your body. And so I think Joe has learned a lot of lessons in that arena, and he has improved a lot with those things.
I mean, kind of just random out there, Allison Pollack is obviously here. She said you guys kind of saw each other in passing at Richmond.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, have you had a chance to talk to her or communicate with her at all?
Allison is great. She's gonna do a heck of a job here, but I knew her a little bit at Richmond, like you said. I mean, we were in the athletic department, so we had those meetings, so we got to see each other maybe a couple times a semester. And same thing here. We've seen each other maybe only 2 or 3 times since she's been here, but we did get to connect, and she's great. She's going to do an awesome job. She's got a ton of enthusiasm, and she's going to bring a lot to the table.
Thank you.